Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are back live. You'll get a double. You'll get a review of Barca and you'll get a preview of Everton Man United tomorrow. But today, we're here to focus on the Premier League and what a week it is going to be in the Premier League. I'm telling you now. Today, I'm joined by my stat man. Some of them call him the Stat King. I won't confirm or deny anything for him because it's up to him. But Doug, how you doing, man?
Oh, Andrew, big welcome to you. And it's great to be back and long-awaited return of this Premier League preview.
Yeah, it has gone far too long that we haven't done one, which is on me, people. Which granted, it's on work. Blame my actual job, not this. But hey, we out here in 2019 making money. That's right. That's what we do in 2019. But yeah. Rory, Eb, Sabin, Matthew, good to see you guys. And then I am what I am. Also good to see you. But Doug, let's go ahead and let's just jump right into this, man, because right off the bat, we've got the midweek rivalry of City and Tottenham, where I honestly think that we're going to see City be pretty pissed off after getting I don't know, Doug, what's going to be the right word for it? Hilariously bounced by VAR. I think that's going to be the right word. So Doug, how do you see it going, man?
Well, Can I just start off by saying that football won on Wednesday?
Yep.
Manchester City and PSG have not won the Champions League. Oil money has not won.
Yep.
So that is a win for football in itself. Fuck Manchester City, because honestly, I was so glad they went out. The reason is that VAR worked in their favour at Swansea City. It backfired against them this time against Tottenham. I was so happy they went out the other night. So happy.
Oh, same, man. Complete same. I was really I'm just happy that it goes to show. We talked about it off air. I've talked to you guys about this here before. I'm just happy that City lost because it just goes to prove that money can't buy you everything. And money definitely can't buy you fans. That's the one thing I can tell you now. We all saw the crowd noise, City, that you were pumping in. We saw it. You can't fake it. We saw it. So, yeah, I'm happy to see that, money can't buy you everything, people. It just can't. So, yeah, As Matthew said, it was peak football. VAR going against the blue scumbags. Tottenham scoring a goal that would be illegal next year. I love this game. Exactly. But so, Doug, what do you got for me this week, man? For Tottenham and City.
Wow, it's a huge game. It's a big game. It'll be very interesting to see how City react after obviously going out to the Champions League and obviously their quadruple dreams being dashed. Oh, I love this game.
Yes.
And Tottenham have lost their last 4 games away from home, so obviously they'll want to improve on that. But they can take away from the fact that they've already won in Manchester this season in the league. They won at Old Trafford earlier in the season, so I think they will be buoyed by City going out. And the thing is now, Manchester City's defence is very vulnerable. Like, the thing is with Manchester City is that teams are not attacking them, and they're not giving them a go. And you saw the other night that if Tottenham gave them a real good scare, and defensively they were very, very poor. I think that there's a lot said that Manchester City are going to, they're under huge pressure now, and this is a huge week for them. But I do agree with you. I do think they want revenge. I can see Tottenham scoring, but I think City will just have too much for them in the end. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Manchester City, but don't be surprised if it's a draw.
So I would be surprised if it was going to be a draw, Doug. I think that we are going to see City come in pissed off. They did. People need to remember that Spurs did lose midweek. Don't get it twisted. They lost midweek 4-3. Mm-hmm. So they still lost, but because of that away goal difference and scoring the one away goal, are not allowing the away goal at home made all the difference in the world for them. It really did. So I just think that this is a match we're going to see City really show their firepower, and I am going to go with a 3-1 City win. I think Tottenham will score, but I ultimately think that you're going to see that super high of highs from Tottenham really come crashing down after a midweek result like that. And I think that we're going to see City wind up really taking it to them because of the level of upset that they will be. So I'm going 3-1. What are you guys saying? What are you saying that is going to happen in the first match of the weekend, which, by the way, I will be waking up for, and that match is at 4:30 in the morning Arizona time. So wake it up early, and I've got to wake up early for Everton and United too. So it's going to be a very early weekend for your boy, guys. It's going to be a very early weekend for me all weekend. George, 100% fact, honestly, that City and Tottenham match was probably the best match of the season to this point. I would agree with that. I think that you could make the argument it might be the best match of the season across world football to this point. So just my opinion. Let's see here. Let's see if anybody's giving me predictions. So Saban saying City will win this game 4-0. I mean, honestly, I could see it. Tottenham's confidence is sky high despite them losing. I'm predicting a 3-3. Matthew, I could see it. I mean, I could see the tie. I could see it happening. But to me, there's no way I'm going to predict anything but City just putting a beating to Tottenham. You typically have a letdown after a match like that. It is true. You typically do have a letdown after a match like that. Some best left-sided attacking player in the Prem. George, I would 100% take Sonaldo at Manchester United. I would take him tomorrow. But unfortunately, I don't see him going anywhere. I think he does genuinely love it at Tottenham. And I honestly can't say I blame him either. Mo's going 5-0 City. Geez. They just want Brexit talent because they will be cheaper than European players due to Brexit. I mean, so I am what I am. What I will say, I mean, we're not necessarily going to be talking about transfers yet, and I try not to, but I will take Premier League proven talent over, other world talent that isn't, a little bit more advanced in age, at least into their early 20s, like, 21, been proving it across world football. Like great example is Kylian Mbappe. I would 100% take Kylian Mbappe all day long from world football, but I would prefer to take Premier League proven players over, people that have been playing in the Portuguese league and people that have been playing in the Turkish league and, things like that. I don't trust non-Premier League talent as much as I do, Premier League proven talent, because I feel like it takes non-Premier League proven talent longer to adjust to the league. George Kyle said City 4, Spurs 1, City out for revenge. Wan-Bissaka fills all the criteria, young in English. I mean, George, yeah, I mean, I would take Wan-Bissaka. Son is greater than Mane, who's greater than Hazard, who's greater than Sane, who's greater than Martial, who's greater than Jota. Yeah, Matthew, I actually think that list is pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. And then that is it for everybody. So, Rory did just jump in. City back for revenge. 3-1 City with Aguero 2 and Sterling, and Tottenham only 1 goal coming from Toby Alderweireld. I mean, 3-1. I mean, Doug, you were going with a 2-2 draw, right?
2-1 City.
Oh, 2-1 City. I thought you went with the draw. My bad. That's right. Because you said, but you could see the draw happening. I'm sorry. Would you rather City or Liverpool to win the league? John, at this point, it's City win the league. At this point, it's City win the league. Now that they can't win the quadruple, sorry, Doug, I got to break your heart a little bit. I don't want you guys to win the league now. If City was still in the Champions League, I would still probably be leaning a little bit more towards you guys. But now at this point, I'll take City winning the league all day long. But anyways, we move on. We go to our next match. These are the midday matches on Saturday for you guys. So first up on my list, I've got Bournemouth against Fulham. Fulham already relegated. Sorry, words are hard, people. So Fulham are already relegated. We've got Bournemouth, who are coming off of a massive win. Doug, how do you see this going?
Well, Bournemouth 5-0 away to Brighton. I mean, like, everyone was saying, Bournemouth's struggles away from home are key to see. And then they basically decide, screw what everyone thinks, and we'll go out and attack Brighton and absolutely smash them up 5-0. Absolutely fantastic performance from Bournemouth. And you know what? That combination again, Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, has been very key this season to Bournemouth's success. And in all honesty, Bournemouth have not lost to Fulham at the Vitality Stadium since January 1994, when they were both in the third tier. So that would be League One of the day. So I think all paths lead to a Bournemouth victory. I mean, Fulham already down, as we both say, but they beat Everton last game.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers. And that was Scott Parker's first one. I actually really hope that Fulham give Scott Parker a chance. See what he can do in the Championship. I know it's a very tough league, but see what he can do, because I think he's finally got the team playing. I think he's got everyone on board with what he wants. Away from home, they were absolutely dire Fulham, I must admit. I think they've only taken 1 point away from home all season, and that was at Newcastle. That was a 0-0 draw. But I suppose it's still better than Arsenal, because they've actually had a clean sheet away from home. Arsenal haven't.
Yeah.
So that would be very, very. Oh, actually, no.
Arsenal just got their first clean sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, at Watford. So which we will come to.
They did get lucky, Doug. They got lucky.
Very lucky. Very lucky. For this match, though, I can only see one winner, and that's Bournemouth. I'm going for a 2-0 win to Bournemouth.
Funny enough, Doug, I'm going 2-0 Bournemouth as well. And here's the reason why. Fulham already relegated. Bournemouth at home. Fulham coming off of beating Everton. And by the way, I will say this. After all the money that they spent, I do think that the team is finally starting to gel together a little bit. It's the danger of bringing in a lot of new talent into a team. But it would be ironic if Fulham managed to win out the rest of the year after, the start to the season that they had, and obviously them already being relegated. Just because the fact that they managed to spend the amount of money that they did and still get relegated is actually kind of sad. And I was rooting for Fulham too. At the end of the day, I was rooting for them to manage to stay up in the Prem. I think that they've got one of the coolest and most unique stadiums in the Premier League at Craven Cottage. That's a really cool place. You don't see places like that here in the States very often, not stadiums like that. But Bournemouth is going to be too much for Fulham. Bournemouth at home is a dangerous place to go play for a lot of people. Unless you're inside of the top 6, then you can pretty much take it to Bournemouth. But yeah, I think that the ultimately 2-0 for Bournemouth will be a decent result for Bournemouth and a decent. It's not going to be. It doesn't really matter for Fulham at this point. So. Arsenal did against Watford. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. And then guys, make sure that if you want to get your scores read out, be sure to get them in. In the USL, they play on baseball fields. Matthew, now that is unique to an extent, but it's also because there isn't enough soccer pitches here. We have a lot of baseball stadiums here. So they tend to recycle them and make them be used for soccer pitches. Because they fit. They do fit. Let's see here. So Saban is going 3-0 Bournemouth. Matthew's going 3-1 Bournemouth with Brooks getting a double and Fraser with the other. Sessegnon will get a late one. Sessegnon 100% will be getting bought by another Premier League club. I can almost guarantee it. He always does look dangerous whenever he plays, and you can see his talent is far superior on the team. Matthew did say assuming no injuries. Yeah, assuming no injuries, Matthew. Rory said Fulham versus Bournemouth to start with Bournemouth 4 goals, Wilson getting a hat trick, and then Fraser with 1. Now, Fulham versus Everton was a shock, especially when Everton just beat Arsenal. So Fulham 3 with Schürrle 2 and Sessegnon getting 1. So, man, that 4-3 score prediction. I like that, Rory. We like a spicy, bold prediction here. Imagine if the UCL final is Liverpool versus Spurs, and if Spurs win, they get the UCL spot at our expense. Oh God, George, don't start, George. Mo's going with a 1-1, and I don't see anybody else. So, Doug, we move on to our next match, which, ironically enough, is going to be Huddersfield against Watford. Watford were very unlucky to not come up with at least a draw against Arsenal last week. And in all honesty, I mean, Huddersfield, yikes. But Watford, 100%, in my opinion, should be winning this game, even if it is away from home. And especially considering the fact that they did just come off of a game they should have won against Arsenal. So, Doug, how do you see it going?
Well, I'm going to talk about Watford first because I absolutely agree with you. They were really harshly done by. The winning goal from Arsenal, Aubameyang does close down Ben Foster, and it just goes into the back of the net, and he looks out. And then probably the worst decision, probably by Craig Pawson. It had to be Craig Pawson. He's had really, really bad refereeing performances this season, and it didn't surprise me when he made this one. Troy Deeney sent off for what I basically describe as a brush to the face.
Yeah, it's essentially what it was. I mean, okay, I know we talked about it during our review of the United match, but genuinely, people, what do you think about Troy Deeney's red card? Do you think it should have been a red? Because Doug and I both have the same opinion that basically Torreira took that like a bitch and went down harder than a porn star on crack. I don't know. I'm coming up with weird analogies here, people, but ultimately, guys, I mean, I've genuinely taken harder hits from Olivia, who's in the womb of my wife right now. She's hit me harder than Torreira got hit by Deeney. Fact. So, Doug, I gotta know. I gotta know what the people are gonna think. I think the ref gave a harsher punishment due to the fact Torreira stopped his run, so there was no danger. But yeah, very light. Yeah, and Matthew, that's where my problem came in. Troy Deeney is mates with the AFTV lads that deliberately got sent off. George, we started conspiracy theories. I like it. Mo does say clear red. Sorry, listen, and everybody's got an opinion, man. I don't mind if you disagree with me. That's why VAR is essential to protect us from crap refs. Yeah, I am actually excited to see what Could have said porn star on Viagra. Matthew, listen, I don't do the analogy thing, man. I was originally not going to say it, and then I said it, and, whatever. Saban went with it, saying it's a red. But, I mean, it is a call that splits opinion, because I do think that it should have been a card, and I think it should have been a very clear warning that was not going to be allowed to happen again. And it would have probably changed Troy Deeney's game a bit for the rest of the game. But I think that it should have been a yellow with a very harsh warning, saying that if you do anything for the rest of the match, any kind of foul, you're going to be off. Because while it was kind of, it was intentional. Nobody can deny that it was intentional. But at the end of the day, while it was intentional, he barely touched him. And George, I agree that it was totally unnecessary from Deeney. It was totally unnecessary, but it doesn't change the fact that it was soft. Very soft. But anyways, Doug, we jump into the score predictions. What do you got for me?
I mean, Huddersfield are just... I think they just want this season to be over with. 4-0 last weekend against Tottenham, and Tottenham were just terrific. And actually, Huddersfield are almost closing in on being the second worst team ever to go down with the lowest points total. Because obviously Derby County got 11 points. Sunderland in 05-06 got 15. They've got 14. So it'd be very interesting to see if they could actually get any more points. But I had a look at their last sort of four fixtures, and obviously after Watford they go to Anfield, then they play Manchester United, and then for the life of me I can't even think who they got the last game of the season. So they'll just want this season to be over with.
They're going to be ending the season with a limp, Doug. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And add insult to injury that Troy Deeney's red card was upheld, so he's now banned for 3 matches, which is a massive blow for Watford. But he will be back for the FA Cup final, so that's a bit of a plus. I can't see anything other than a away win, but Huddersfield do make it difficult for you at the John Smith Stadium. So I think Watford will win, but I think it'll be a solitary goal. I'm actually going to go for a 1-0 win to Watford here.
So I'm not going to be far off of you there, Doug. I'm going to go with a 2-0 for Watford. I think that Watford have a lot of talent on their team. The one person I would like to comment on from last week in terms of their talent was Will Hughes. Will Hughes fought that entire match to try and get a goal being a man down. That man tried his damnedest. Granted, he looks like a hobbit, guys. Don't get me wrong. He looks like a hobbit. But that man tried his damnedest to get his team a goal. And I give that I had all the respect in the world after that match for Will Hughes, because you could just see the fight that he had. And it was awesome to just watch him do his thing out on the pitch despite being a man down. But I'm saying it's going to be 2-0, and I think that Huddersfield will probably end this season without getting another win. I could see them maybe pulling off a draw at some place, but I don't see it happening. I don't see them winning another match this year, unfortunately. There's always got to be teams that have got to go down, and Huddersfield. I mean, they stayed up for a year. It's credit to them. They did stay up for a year, but I mean, yikes! They're going to go out with a serious limp here, people. So Jack Coleman's going with a 2-0 for Watford. Huddersfield should be banned from the Prem. Jack, why do you think that? I'd love to know why. Saban said 2-1 for Watford. Jack Coleman did say Troy Deeney is a G, though. I do like Troy Deeney. I do have a little bit of a soft spot for him. Then let's see here, scrolling down. Rory's going with a 5-0 for Watford. I like it. I like I said, Rory. I like bold score predictions. That's a bold one right there. And then Rory did also say he thinks that the Deeney foul was a yellow. Let's see here. Derby were dreadful. Mo's saying 3-0 for Watford. George Kyle said Watford are hopefully going to do a Wigan against City in that final. George, fingers crossed, baby. Fingers crossed. Decoria is very good. Decoria is very good. I actually would be interested to see if he gets a move to a top 6 club. He's had that kind of season this year. Look like both a nonsense child at the same time. Matthew, you're not wrong about that. Is he albino? Jack, I actually do not know the answer to that about Will Hughes. Have we mentioned that I was entirely right when I said Young is the biggest step in the entire squad months ago? Nah, George, no, you're wrong about that, man. You're wrong. It's okay. See here. And that is the last score prediction I am seeing. He's just very blonde, Jack. Yeah, that's what I thought, Matthew. That is what I thought. President of the Young Witch Hunting Club here. George, that is a fact. You are the president. You are the CEO. You are the CFO. You are the COO. You are everything to the Ashley Young Witch Hunting Club. That is a 100% fact. Let's see here. Doug, we move on. We've got West Ham against Leicester. How do you see it going, man?
Both these sides coming off narrow defeats in the last game. Obviously, West Ham losing 2-1 at Old Trafford. But you have to commend them for their performance at Old Trafford. They played pretty well.
Yeah.
My only thing is with West Ham, though, the yellow card shown to Ryan Fredericks. Now, me and you had a real big debate about this one, and we were both thinking that it should have been a red.
I'm sorry, Doug. What were you talking about? The red?
Ryan Fredericks' tackle on Anthony Martial.
Oh,
for the
yep,
second penalty.
Yeah, with the second penalty, that should have 100% been a red. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. That should have been a red. Mad Marcus, that is your stat man, baby. That is your stat man. He is here with us live. But yeah, but sorry, Doug. Yeah, that 100% should have been a red. Not even a question. Last man, and he would have been Martial 1-on-1, but a tackle from behind didn't get any of the ball. I'm sorry, that's a red.
Yeah, I thought it was a red card, but then you're getting people saying that it was a genuine attempt to get the ball. So they've obviously taken away the double jeopardy rule, and they've obviously done the triple jeopardy, which is basically last man challenge. If you make an attempt at the ball, then it's a yellow card. But it's just a really, really silly rule. But apart from that, West Ham played very, very well. Obviously, Felipe Anderson, got his goal at Old Trafford. I thought West Ham were pretty good. Very unlucky to actually lose in that game. Whereas Leicester City were very below par against Newcastle. That was a surprise defeat. I think Leicester just had a real off day. And actually, if you're looking at the chase for 7th place, I mean, you've got Leicester City in there now. You've got Watford and you've got Wolves. So and I suppose you could probably put Everton in there as well. So that chase is going to be very interesting. I think Leicester are 7th at the present moment, so they'll want to strengthen their 7th place push with a victory. London Stadium's not been a very easy place to go quite lately, so I'm actually going to surprise a lot of people here, and I actually think that on form at the moment, Leicester City, despite losing to Newcastle, I think they'll have too much for West Ham, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win. So I'm going for a 2-1 win to Leicester City.
That's interesting. I mean, I could see it happening. I could. I'm actually going to go with a 1-1 draw, though. I think that this last match for West Ham was obviously a difficult one. They played well. In all reality, they probably should have won. but that's not how football is. It's not who should have won, it's who did win at the end of the day. And then Leicester, since Brendan Rodgers has come in, I mean, you've seen some improvement to them. Obviously, he hasn't fully instituted everything that he wants to do, but I just think that ultimately you are going to see this be a real dogfight kind of match. I think that this is going to be a match that you're going to see just both teams going at each other, and I could actually see this match being one that winds up getting a red. I could, because I think that you could see somebody going in for a bit of a dodgy tackle. You know, I think you could see something like that happening, because this is two teams that are going to be fighting very hard. And I think this will actually be a very entertaining match, in all honesty. But, you know, 1-1 wouldn't be a bad result for either side. Jack Coleman, Felipe Anderson is a baller. I would have loved him at United. You know, I didn't really talk about him much, but seeing what he's done since coming to the Prem, it's just proven what a lot of people thought. So good on him. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised to see him move somewhere else come this summer. I could see it happening. Let's see here. We've got Saban's going 1-1. Then 5 out of Leicester's players would walk into our team: Chilwell, Maguire, Pereira, Ndidi, and Vardy, and potentially Madison and Tielemans. I would take Yuri Tielemans at Manchester United, that's for sure. Same with Ndidi, and same with Maguire. Everybody else, I'm kind of like meh about. Trying to see if anybody. So West Ham, Leicester, very narrow, though. A draw, goalless, so 0-0, but West Ham get a lucky escape through a disallowed goal. And once again, the bold prediction from Rory, I'm really digging it, man. Matthew did say, talking about the Martial non-red card. That's going to be the way to put it. Intent doesn't matter. If you murder someone on the pitch with a 2-footed challenge to the ribs, you can't just say, "Oh, ref, it wasn't intentional," and get a slap on the wrist. Yeah, Matthew, that's true. I don't think you can murder anybody at any point. So, in fairness, but West Ham were unlucky. We benefited from some great refereeing decisions. Yeah, we did. Mo is going with a 3-2 win for the Hammers. He'll do a Payet and leave in January 2020. Matthew, that I could actually see that happening. And then Felipe Anderson is like 25, though. So this summer is the summer for him to make a big move. Jack, it is. It 100% is. And then I'm not seeing anybody else's score predictions. So, Doug, we move on. We're moving on to a game that I actually think will be interesting as well, because Wolves do not play well against the bottom six. They play well against the top six, but never the bottom six. So, Wolves, Brighton and Hove Albion. Doug, how do you see it going?
You're absolutely right. Wolves are averaging 1.3 points a game versus the top six, but they're averaging 1.1 points against everyone else. That's been their problem all season. Coming off the back of a 3-1 defeat to Southampton, which they were very, very poor in that game. It has to be said, but you know, I think they're still having a wee bit of a hangover effect from the Watford Cup game. I mean, but you know, they've had a fantastic season, and it has to be said that getting Raul Jimenez for £30 million is probably one of the bargains of the summer so far.
Yep. Like, Raul Jimenez is somebody that, I mean, he's had a pretty phenomenal season, and he could offer a lot to any team. I mean, he's got pretty decent hold-up play. I mean, he's got the ability to score from really realistically anywhere around the 18-yard box. You know, he's pretty good. I'll give him some credit. So 30 million is next to nothing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas Brighton, I hate to say it, but they look doomed to me. And the reason is that, you lose 5-0 to Bournemouth. And actually, they've lost one of their most influential players quite recently, Anthony Knockaert. What was he thinking when he made that challenge on Adam Smith? I tell you something, Adam Smith is very lucky that he's not got a broken leg, because if his leg is planted on the ground, that's a leg breaker. And you actually sent me a video of that, and
it was pretty disgusting, man. That challenge was disgusting. Which, by the way, I want to take a pause real quick. Everybody, F's in the chat, applauses, whatever, for Matthew McFadden on getting his dissertation done on the Phoenix Rising, baby. Give him one of these, people. Give him one of these. F's in the chat, whatever you want to do. Matthew finished his dissertation. He's still got some more work to do, but we applaud where needed, and Matthew deserves it. We're actually going to change those M's. The M's, they're going to W's, baby. Matthew Wickwadian. It's true, people. It's damn true. Anyways, sorry. Doug, disgusting red. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It was a shocking tackle, absolutely shocking tackle, and then they go and lose at home to Cardiff City, which was a game where I would expect them to bounce back. But it's very interesting now, because it looks like the final relegation place is between Cardiff City and Brighton, and I have to say Brighton's run-in is horrible, absolutely horrible. They have, obviously, after Wolves, they have Tottenham on Tuesday. Away. Don't see them getting anything out of that. Then it's the big one. Probably the must win for Brighton. They have Newcastle at the Amex. Must win. And then after that, it's Arsenal away. Don't see them getting anything out of that. And then Manchester City, final day of the season. So I hate to say it, but I like Chris Hughton. I think Brighton have been I think they were a breath of fresh air when they first came up into the Premier League, but unfortunately, I think they're doomed. Unfortunately, I don't see them getting anything out of Wolves this week. Obviously, Wolves have got 2 home games this coming up. Obviously, they've got Brighton and they've got Arsenal. I think Wolves will win, and I hate to say it, it's a case of how many for me. I'm going to go 2-0 to Wolves.
So, I'm actually going to go with only a 1-0 win for Wolves. I think that they are going to be challenged by Brighton in this match. They really do struggle against the relegation sides. I don't know why. For a team that does so well against the top 6, you would think they would go into people that are like Brighton and absolutely destroy them. And I actually think that they will be lucky to come out of this match with a win. I really do. So 1-0 win is what I am predicting for Wolves. And let me tell you what, it'll still be a good result for Wolves, but they need to figure out how to be better next year against these bottom sides. And if they do, next season, they could compete for a Champions League spot. They really could, because if they didn't drop the points they did to who they did, they could be around the top 6 next year and possibly even around the top 4. They're that good. So let's go ahead. Let's get to what you guys are going to say. And by the way, George, you will get an Arthur sighting at the end of the stream. I promise. Saban said Wolves 2-0. Vandy's going 3-0 for Wolves. Brighton suck. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. George, we will be getting the Earn Brew review very soon. It might actually happen tomorrow after the Phoenix Rising game. I'm going to talk to Aaron and see if he wants to come over after and do a review of the Phoenix Rising game with me. We'll see, though. We'll see. Let's see here. Vandy Matthew is eating those W's. It is true. I want to see Cardiff go down just so we could see Warnock's reaction. Neil Warnock does have some pretty priceless reactions. I will say that, Jack. Someone would be very good for Tottenham. Does Doug think Liverpool or City will win the league? I mean, Doug, we'll talk about that in a second. Mo's going 2-1 Brighton. Ooh, bold predictions. Bold predictions. I like it. I love bold predictions. Captain, microphone turned up today. Do I get a shout out like Maddie? Marcus, he got you guys. You see this this mic right here? Mad Marcus got this. He's gonna start using it for his streams. F's in the chat. F's in the chat for Marcus for making a smart decision. It doesn't happen very often, does it, Marcus? Just love you, Marcus. But no, they won't be top 4. Jack, I mean, listen. Ultimately, it's possible. It is possible that they could be top 4. I'm not saying it will happen, but it could happen. Then I'm not seeing anybody else. So we move on to our next match, the last match of Saturday. It is Newcastle Southampton. Doug, what do you got for me, man?
Both teams in pretty good form, you would have to say.
Yep.
Southampton 3-1 win over Wolves, which was very, very good. Obviously, Nathan Redmond scoring twice against Wolves. Newcastle coming off the back of a win against Leicester, and I don't think anyone expected them to beat Leicester. Which
no,
what Rafa Benitez has done at Newcastle this season is nothing short of like a miracle. He's a miracle worker, because the way they started this season, I think they had about 8 or 9 defeats in a row, and everyone was saying, okay, this is maybe their time to go down. But they managed to save themselves. I mean, since Hasenhüttl's come in at Southampton, look at how well they've played. They've been fantastic. So this is a game where you could say probably both sides are safe, I would say. But have to go for home advantage, because I think Newcastle got a pretty good home record. Obviously, last game at home they lost to Crystal Palace, and they will not know. They will know how they did not win that game. They will not know how they did not win that game. So I think this could be a very good game to watch at 5:30 tomorrow. So I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 home win to Newcastle.
And you know what? I've been going back and forth on this one, because Hasenhüttl has been very good since coming to Southampton. He's gotten Southampton playing pretty decently. And like you did say, Doug, I do think that both of these sides are officially safe from relegation. It'll definitely make my friends from the Magpie channel very happy that Newcastle is safe at this point, considering the start to the season that Newcastle had. So I never called you Andy. Jack, I have always gone by Andrew, just so you know. Let's see here. I am going to go with. I'm going to go with another 1-1. I can't pick a winner. So I'm going to go 1-1 for this match. I think that I would say of the two sides, I will go with Newcastle to be the one that could possibly win it, being at home. But I think that a 1-1 draw would be tough for Newcastle. They would probably be upset with not picking up the full 3 points. So let's go ahead. Let's see here. George is going with a 2-1 Newcastle win. I did see Marcus throw in a prediction here. He went with 2-2, a draw. Saban is going with a 1-1. Mo is going with the 1-1. And Rory, by the way, I am sorry that I missed yours for the last one. Talking of Newcastle, will Rafa roll over for Liverpool in the penultimate game of the season? I hope not, George. I hope he plays to his best. Vandy said this could be a classic Rafa game, 0-0, put everybody to sleep. Could see it happening. Could definitely see it happening. Rory said Newcastle, Southampton, very good game in my opinion. I'm going for a big prediction. Don't bully me on this one, but 3-0 Newcastle. I mean, listen, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Or just this, you don't get bullied on this channel. Yeah, George, You're not wrong. Nobody gets bullied on this channel. We don't allow bullying on this channel. It's true. Just like we don't allow racism on this channel. Just like we don't allow, people to hate on people for having an opinion on this channel. All facts. And like I said, we only deal with facts in 2019, people. 2020, we'll maybe have another discussion. But 2019, we're only dealing in facts. Mo, only gentle teasing. That is true. Banter is different. But real bullying will never be accepted. Never. Marcus knows what I'm talking about. And all yuppos are not allowed. George, all of the yuppos are definitely not allowed. That is a fact. Let's see here. So, Doug, we move on. And I'm not going to talk about this one very much. I'm just basically going to give a score prediction as per usual. Everton, Manchester United. How do you see it going?
You just don't know what Everton team is going to turn up. Are we going to get the one that beat Arsenal comfortably, 1-0? Or are we going to get the Everton who really performed very poorly at Fulham last week? They're a Jekyll and Hyde team. You just don't know what you're going to get with them. Obviously, they're going to miss Andre Gomez, who's now banned for 3 matches for a stamp of Mitrovic. Everton are like I said, they're you just don't know what Everton's going to turn up.
Yeah.
And Manchester United, obviously coming off the back of a win against West Ham, and obviously the Champions League defeat to Barcelona. And I want to actually say this. I want to condone all the racist abuse Ashley Young got on social media.
Amen, bro.
Because you have to say this, that you can criticize a player, you can criticize a player, you can say that they had a rubbish game, etc. But what you do not do is cross the line and basically racial abuse their beliefs, their color, their skin. That's just not on. And I was absolutely disgusted to see Ashley Young receive that abuse, because nobody deserves it. And you're getting like Danny Rose saying that he cannot wait to see the back of football because of it. And it's really sad that it's still in our game. Like I thought it had gone, but obviously it's not. I think this is a must-win for Manchester United. I really do. If they obviously want to get top 4, I think it is a must-win. And actually, I am going to go for an away win because Manchester United have won 3 out of the last 5 against Everton. The 2 of those were draws. So Everton have not beaten Manchester United for a wee while. I actually think the last Everton win against Manchester United, I think, was the David Moyes days. So I think you're looking at that one. There's been a few draws, obviously at Goodison as well. But yeah, I think Manchester United have to win, and I think they will win. And I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for the Red Devils.
And I do appreciate that, Doug. I appreciate that. People, I want to come out and say this right now. I might even make this my first ever clip I put onto YouTube. The fact that Ashley Young is black has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that he is a shit footballer. I don't give a crap what color you are. If you are shit at football, get off the pitch. At a certain point, I mean, I'm waiting to have Gary Neville talk about the fact that he knew when he was done in football, and I hope that Ashley Young takes something from that. Racism should never be allowed in this game, and unfortunately, with the way that social media is these days, it inspires trolls to continue to do this kind of crap. And I cannot stand it. And it's unfortunate that there is almost nothing that could be done about trolls because all they can do is, guess what? Their account might get banned. They could start up another one, and then another one, and then another one. And it's pathetic. People that use race in anything that they do is pathetic. Ashley Young is a shit footballer. That's it. Simple as. Get off of the guy's back. And if you use racism at a game, especially at a game, I hope that the people around you call you out on it and you are kicked out permanently. Racism has no place in sports. None. And if you use it, you are not welcome on this channel. You're not welcome on any platform that I am a part of. And I can guarantee you that you will be found if you are following me. Guaranteed. Just absolutely disgusting stuff. Absolutely disgusting. Anyways, we get back to talking about Manchester United and Everton. I am going to go with a 2-0 Manchester United win. That's what I'm going with. And I'm not going to say any more. You guys will have to hear more tomorrow about it. Let's see here. Jack Coleman said that his granny hates us. I mean, hey, cool, man. Listen, she just doesn't know good when she sees it. Marcus, it is because we out here in 2019. Andre Gomez is a beautiful man. George, thick people do use racism to abuse people. That is a fact. That is a fact. Solskjaer, though, put a very confident press this morning. So they'll improve. 2-0 win with Mata back to his best, scoring 2. That would be cool. I would like to see that. Jack did say both teams are very inconsistent, which that is true as well. Mo did say 4-0 for 4-0 FC for Manchester United. We can only hope, Mo. We can only hope. Vandy said 3-2 United. We can't stop anybody from scoring. Hopefully we score more. We'll see, Vandy. We'll see. Saban said 2-0 to United. I have zero faith in United. George, listen, I don't think very many people do right now. It really could be any score too. Lots of the best players ever have been black. Yeah, George, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I can't watch Young anymore. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're part of the George Kyle witch hunt against Ashley Young. Then I'm pretty sure that's what it is, Saban. Every single Premier League team has had black players who have been integral to their success. George, that is a fact. That is an absolute fact. Personally, I think Pogba gets singled out by the media and certain fans just because he's black. He seems like a great guy and is loved by all of his teammates. Jack, I haven't seen as much racism used against Paul Pogba. I think a lot of people talk about his inconsistencies. But you know it's probably out there. If it's out there against Ashley Young, it's definitely out there against Paul Pogba. My granny hates everyone. That's not Irish. Oh, man, that's funny. But anyways, that's it. We move on. Let's go to Arsenal against Crystal Palace. My hope is that Arsenal drops some points after a midweek game. I don't know if it'll happen, but Crystal Palace are a team that could definitely do it. So, Doug, how do you see this going?
Be interesting to see what kind of mindset Emery has on this game, considering that obviously they've just made the semi-finals of the Europa League, and obviously they'll be playing Emery's former side, Valencia. I actually think this is a potential banana skin for Arsenal. It's one of those games where you're like, okay, Crystal Palace at home, like they would usually expect, okay, win. But the fact is that Crystal Palace are pretty much better away from home than they are at home will be very, very interesting. Crystal Palace, I think they've probably got themselves a new sort of free kick taker in Milivojevic. That free kick against City was fantastic last week. Yeah, they were very, very unlucky to lose 3-1 in the end. And do you know what? They're safe. There's no chance they'll go down.
No,
this season.
Not at all.
Arsenal, I mean, they're just ploughing away. I mean, they were very lucky at Watford. I think everyone can clearly see that. Bernd Leno saved their butts again. I don't know how many times he's done that, but It's a tricky one to predict, but because it's a home advantage, I'm going to go just at Arsenal. But having said that, I would not be surprised if Palace pull off the win or even the draw, because of obviously how Arsenal having to travel to Naples and then obviously having to play on the Sunday. But I'm going to go for 2-1 Arsenal in this one. But don't be surprised if Palace even pull off the draw or even Palace get the win, because they are capable of doing that. But I'm going to stick with my 2-1 just now to Arsenal.
And I am actually going 2-1 for Arsenal as well. Listen, I'm going to cross the fingers. I'm going to say a prayer that Arsenal drops some points, because we need some drop points if we're going to make top four. It is true, because ultimately we have a very difficult run as Manchester United to be able to get to the top four by the end of the year. So getting some drop points would be awesome. But ultimately, Arsenal have one of the best records at home this season. They do. So the likelihood of Arsenal dropping points at home is very, very small. Crystal Palace is a team that does seem to be a bit of a boogie team for a lot of people. But I would be very surprised to see Arsenal wind up losing this match. I could see a draw happening, but I'm still going to go with a 2-1 Arsenal win. As much as that pains me to say, 2-1 Arsenal. Saban said 2-1 for Palace against Banter FC. Yeah, we can only hope, Saban. We can only hope. Vandy said, so George also said Arsenal have one of the best home records in the Prem. Vandy said Arsenal 2-1. Palace are not on the beach yet, but lack quality. Rory said Palace are a very good team against the top four. So Arsenal, the fact that they're at home is very cool, though. So I think a 1-1. Mo is going 3-0. Their away form has been crap, but their home has been carried Arsenal. Yeah, George, you're absolutely right on that. And then that is everybody that I see. So we move on to your team, Doug. And we've got Cardiff against Liverpool. I really don't see a way that Cardiff pulls off anything here. As much as I love my Neil Warnock reactions, so hold on. So Matthew did go with 1-0 for Arsenal, a rare clean sheet for them. Cardiff will draw. They're up for it. Matthew, we can only hope, baby. We can only hope. But Doug, how do you see the match going?
Last week was a huge win for Liverpool beating Chelsea, because that was the game where I was actually thinking that, okay, this might be the one where they sort of, muck up, but they didn't in the end. But obviously they ruled their luck. Obviously, Hazard deciding to be the Eden Hazard of basically like disappearing. I know he had 2 chances and he didn't score, so and obviously Salah scores an absolute belter of a strike as well. Actually, if you're looking at Cardiff City against Liverpool, obviously 4-1 to Liverpool in the previous fixture. The last time Liverpool played at the Cardiff City Stadium, they ran out 6-3 winners. And I seem to remember, I think Cardiff took the lead that day, so that was a bit of a roller coaster of a match. Cardiff City, they will be buoyed by beating Brighton. Definitely buoyed by beating Brighton. I don't think this is the game that they can look ahead to. That they can. Okay, I'm not saying that they could get something out of this, but what I will say is that they will look ahead to next week's game, which is huge. They are away to Fulham next Saturday. That is a huge game, because if Cardiff win that, then I think they are safe because of Brighton's running. I think Cardiff have got. And remember, obviously after Liverpool, they have Fulham away, Palace at home, and then Manchester United away. So the next two games after this one will be key for them to decide if they stay up or not. Apart from that, I can only see Liverpool winning this one. I do think it'll be a hard game. Cardiff gave Chelsea a really hard game quite recently. I think Cardiff have been really unlucky this season, and they've been on the back of really poor refereeing decisions. Obviously, the Chelsea game comes to mind. That header from Azpilicueta, how the referee did not see that was offside, I'll never know. So I'm hoping that there's better refereeing this week. But I just think we'll have far too much for them. I think we will win 3-0.
So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Liverpool. I do think you'll keep the clean sheet. And the one thing that I think that will keep you from scoring a lot of goals is the fact that you are away from home. I think if this was at home, I would probably predict a little bit bigger of a win. But 2-0 to a Cardiff side that, like George Kyle said, they are fighting for their Premier League lives. I think that they will put up a good fight, but I think that Liverpool are too good for them, and they will win 2-0. So let's see here. George is going with a Cardiff win. I once again, I like bold predictions. Cardiff is fighting for their lives to stay in the Premier League. Saban, yeah, exactly. Mo is saying 2-1 for Liverpool. If Liverpool win the league, that Salah goal will be one of the most iconic commentary lines ever. Matthew. Saban said Cardiff win 1-0. Slippy G slips again. That's funny. George said 2-1 for Cardiff. That goal wasn't even better. Even that good. Pereira's was better. That goal by Pereira was pretty damn good. In fairness, Cardiff against Liverpool. Cardiff are getting better at this time. So 2-1 for Liverpool, but Liverpool very lucky. Liverpool easy 3-0 win. Head tennis doesn't work against big teams. You're not wrong, Vandy. You are not wrong. So, lastly but not leastly, we move on to Chelsea against Burnley, another team that United need to drop points. Doug, how do you see it going?
I don't know if anyone saw Chelsea Slavia Prague, but Chelsea were 4-1 up at half-time. They then let Slavia Prague come back into it, and it finished 4-3. But to be honest with you, Slavia Prague gave them a real scare because they were very, very. I thought Chelsea really let them come back into the game, and I thought they might have gone out, but if they play like that against Eintracht Frankfurt, then there's no way they'll make the final. But yeah, potential Chelsea Arsenal Europa League final. That's just incredible to think that. Chelsea obviously come back off 2-0 defeat to Liverpool. They had chances in the game. Obviously Hazard hit the post, and then obviously Hazard had another shot saved by Alisson. But there was a moment in the game against Liverpool where Kepa kind of misjudged a bounce and basically let Manny in, and then it went out for a goal kick. So there's always every team's gonna have a chance when you've got a really timid goalkeeper in Kepa. Burnley are safe, but they'll be glad that they're not in the Europa League next year, because the Europa League really, really screwed them over this season.
Yep.
It really did. And do you know what? Chelsea will go into this game knowing that if Manchester United win, if Arsenal win, obviously Tottenham will probably lose at Manchester City, then they'll know that this is a must-win. Because that top four race is really, really tight at this moment in time. I can't see anything other than a Chelsea win. Eden Hazard has scored more goals on a Monday night than any other player. So I think that Chelsea will win this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 home win for the Blues.
Interesting. So I am actually going to disagree with you on this one, Doug. I think that we are going to see Chelsea drop some points. I think that we will see a 1-1 draw in this one. I think that I almost went with a Burnley win because Burnley really have recently been playing very well against these bigger sides. It's almost like the bigger sides aren't ready for what Burnley bring, which is basically shithousery football. And I think that Chelsea will have problems. Having just played yesterday, I think is going to come into play. I mean, granted, they did have quite a bit of time off before their next match, but, I think that this is a match I could see Chelsea dropping some points in. So I am going to go with a 1-1 draw, despite the fact that this is at Stamford Bridge. But this will be a very interesting game, to say the least. But let's go ahead. Let's see what you guys say. So George Kyle's going with a 2-2 draw. Saban's going with a 1-1 draw. The Premier League is arguably the strongest league in the world at the current moment. Two sides in the Prem, both in Europa and Champions League semis. Yeah, that's good point, Doug. George. Vandy said Hazard, Odie will do enough to snatch 3 points, 3-1 win. Don't know what Andrew. This Premier League is just unpredictable sometimes. Yeah, Rory, Prem is unpredictable at times. Just heard Arthur barking. He wants his cameo. He's gonna get his cameo. Mo's saying 2-1 to Chelsea. Rory's saying Chelsea Burnley. I think 2-0 for Burnley. Did you see that? That's an interesting one. Caught out by whatever in Europa. No, Rory, I didn't see that. OD. Yeah, my bad, George. My bad. But he's not Batshuayi. He's not. Like I said, we only deal in facts in 2019. Batshuayi is the only guy that gets that name, baby. He is. Let me grab Arthur real quick before we head off, people. Let me get him. Arthur, you want to come say hi? Oh, there you go. You say hi. Go and sit. Arthur came to say hi to you guys. He came to say hi. Mwah. But anyways, thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. Doug, my stat man, my stat king, as some people would call him. Thank you very much for joining me, my friend. Anything you want to shout out?
Fantastic to be back with you doing another Premier League preview. If anyone didn't notice that I obviously had my 10-hour talkathon on the 8th of April, we managed to raise £1,427 for autism awareness and obviously Sam Radio. I actually found out that actually there were other donations straight after it, and we actually managed to raise £2,000 for autism awareness and Sam Radio, which is absolutely phenomenal. But I can only thank you, Andrew, for obviously having the Sam Radio stuff in the obviously the YouTube handle and obviously my Twitter as well. So without you, I probably wouldn't have been able to have done that. So thank you very, very much for that. And I'm looking forward to what should be a very interesting week, probably the pivotal week of the season so far. And then obviously we've got games midweek as well. Look forward to it, and not always a pleasure, man. And I hope you have a very good weekend, and also happy Easter to everyone when it comes. Hope everyone has a very, very good Easter, and enjoy your weekend, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, Doug. Happy Good Friday to everybody out there. Happy Easter to everybody. Doug, I guess before we head off, do you think Liverpool are going to win the league?
Do you know what? I think this weekend is pivotal because I think Liverpool's run-in compared to City's is the most favourable one. I would say that obviously, like Cardiff will be a hard game, and I think we have Huddersfield on the Friday, and then Barcelona like after that. It's going to be interesting, but it is going to be very, very critical. I reckon that if Manchester City win tomorrow and then beat Manchester United, then I do think they will sadly go on and win the league. But if there's any slip-ups from Manchester City, then I think Liverpool will probably pounce. And then obviously, I actually do think it could go down to the final game. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see. But I think there's going to be 1 point between the teams. I'm going to be confident and say yes, because I think City are due a bad result somewhere. Could be tomorrow, or it could be Wednesday against you guys, because form goes out the window when it comes to derby matches. And then actually, I think they got Burnley away, which is not a very easy game either as well. So they have struggled the last couple of times against Burnley. So we can only hope. But I will say yes, but it's not a confident yes. But I think it all depends on Manchester City's results this coming week. If they draw with Tottenham, if they either draw or lose with Manchester United, then you could potentially see Liverpool 7 points clear before they play Burnley, which would be crucial. So I think it all depends on this week. That's all I'm going to say on that.
It really does depend. It's going to be an interesting week, to say the least. I'm not making any predictions yet. But yeah, it is very, very up in the air. That is for sure. Rory, we will do another call-in show soon. Maybe at the end of the year, maybe we can all talk about how everything went this year for you. Maybe that's what we'll do. But I really do appreciate everybody joining me. I have to get back to work. So I really do hope that you all have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Keep doing you, because I love you guys, and you guys are awesome. Have a great rest of your night.